Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Tonight, we would like to discuss some of the issues that were brought up in the leaked audio of Kuda Tagwirei boasting about his influence in the ZANU-PF party and what the future holds. Over the weekend, we'll be discussing the same issue in detail for those who would like to join us. But tonight, we just want to pick one or two issues and discuss them. I'll start with playing the video, a short clip of it, and then we'll discuss it.
A talk show, a small scale mine. It's my vision. A foreigner cannot come to space rufana kuitwa nesusu vanhu vatema. Locals. Saka it was actually my policy mining here. It was my policy. And so I'm a kingmaker. I'm not a kingmaker. Most of my decisions are made when I'm there. They actually come from me. I do my meetings Lamdara about twice a week, twice every week. We discuss economic issues, we discuss political issues and everything. So I am a kingmaker right now. After the president, I am the most powerful person in government, although I'm outside government. And so what we now need Pamberapa is, and the Cap 3 Agatopera, that was the third highlight. Cap 3 Agatopera is going to be voted by parliament. Then the president will just simply sign on the BS that the president cannot go against the parliament. Parliament is representing people. Yeah, so the president just going to simply sign. And once it's law, Pachatanga Kuita now a campaign kuti takuda young leadership. More presidium. And that will be the next war. Right now we can't fight wars. We can't fight war. Dissension yana general. And we can't fight war. Cap 3 at the same time. We have to fight one war at a time. So once we win the war Cap 3, we go for the second war general.
This brilliant little device keeps any room ice cold all summer and toasty warm all winter, with zero installation, zero ductwork, and
my apologies for that one. There you have it. Ben, what struck you most there?
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. Firstly, I'm just going to deviate a bit. I just wanted the people to actually know that according to Ola, a famous journalist in Zimbabwe, who had a team to verify the authenticity of the audio, and it is now said that the audio is not AI generated, it is the real thing. So I think there is a big story there. And to get back to our discussion, I've always said, from the very beginning that ZANU-PF doesn't have a handover and changeover plan. They have never had it. They never will, probably. And what we are seeing here, I think these are just the highlights of things that are to come. It's going to get very, very messy, and it's going to get very, very nasty. And I sincerely believe, because they don't have a succession plan, they have decided to go through the curb 3, where they prolong the stay whilst they try and fight the battle from within. So I must say, the truth is there, and I believe this is what is happening right now.
Well, I have to agree with you that ZANU-PF does not have a succession plan. I think from the simple logic that Mnangagwa wants to hang on. And at the present moment, the system that is there now suits the likes of our friend Kuda Tagwirei. In fact, for some of you who have not had the chance to listen to the whole video, I suggest you do that, because he really does go into great depth, detail about many things. And one of the things that he said there, which in this short clip we played, is that we cannot fight 2 wars. We want to fight this constitutional amendment bill number 3. And once we're finished with that one, we'll move on to fight Chiwenga. And one of the things that he said in that video clip would be that the longer Mnangagwa stays in power, if this constitutional amendment bill number 3 sails through, it will allow the faction, Mnangagwa faction, to then to deal with the Chiwenga faction. In other words, eliminate him. So as much as Mnangagwa may not have a succession plan, he certainly has one to make sure that it does not include the present Vice President, Chiwenga. And this is what we are witnessing here.
I think, when we look at Operation Restore Legacy, I think it gives us, a clear picture of the problem that is within ZANU-PF. There is a lot of backbiting, there is a lot of infighting, and no clear direction as to who will be the next top dog. And whoever is currently the top dog has his own plan outside the plans of the party. Basically, what it means is nobody consults anybody, but the one that is in power has now the right to bulldoze everybody and put his own. And we are seeing here where, Mnangagwa is basically, jumping Tagwirei right through, the chain of command, basically, if I can say that, where he's quickly risen within the political ranks and, priming him to take over. The way this, the whole audio, and I'm glad you mentioned that whoever hasn't listened to it needs to take time to listen to it, and then can also be part of the conversation, because it goes on. The detail in there is what we are seeing and what we have been saying, for in some of our broadcasts, to say the political situation in Zimbabwe is so toxic. Nothing good can actually come out. It goes to speak of, these battles, where there will be one battle after the other, and we are talking of big monies that are going to be spent, our money, Zimbabwe's money, whether it be mineral money, whether it be, taxpayers' money, state capture. It goes on to talk about all that. It's so toxic. Nothing can grow in Zimbabwe right now. Nothing, can actually thrive. You were talking of Vision 2030. Vision 2030, upper middle income economy, can never be attained with such corrupt, murderous thugs that are, seeking whom they may devour just to be the top dog.
I'd like to repeat the bit where he said, after the president, I'm the most powerful person in government, although I'm outside government. That is a profound statement, because what he is confirming there is now we have completely moved from being governed by elected people. Even those who rigged the elections, because let's be clear, Mnangagwa was never elected by the people of Zimbabwe. He came into power in 2017 on the cocktail of a military coup. He promised to hold free, fair, and credible elections, and failed to implement even one token reform to ensure the elections were free, fair, and credible. And so proceeded to rig the 2018 elections, and he also rigged the 2023 elections. But at least he was going through the motions of elections. And now we learn that the most powerful person after Mnangagwa himself is an individual who is not even a member of parliament. He's never been elected into public office at all. The only qualification that Kuda Tagwirei has is that, by his own admission, he's the richest man in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has been taken over by the mafia thugs. They own most of our key industrial sectors, the wealth generating institutions in the country. And they've captured them in such a way that they are earning millions, billions of dollars. And they are now able to use some of that ill-gotten wealth to buy political influence. This is where we are. This is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. The country is now in the hands of the mafia. They own everything, they control the politicians, and they decide who gets elected into office. And this is a frightening reality. Because what it really means is we, the ordinary people, have absolutely no meaningful power now in the present setup. They control who gets elected, and once that individual is elected, they dictate what they can and cannot do. And at the present moment, we know that the Zimbabwe's economy is in total meltdown. Corruption has reached a level where the wealth that the country should have for the good of the country, of the whole country, is now being used for the benefit of the few ruling elite. And we are helpless to change it. He didn't say something new. We knew that already. He just confirmed something we already knew. And that is, to me, the most worrying thing that I got out of that video clip.
My most worrying thing is the fear that Zimbabweans will be excited to hear about, what is going on, to those that weren't following. We now have the knowledge of how our country is being run, mafia style. And once we know, just like many other, exposés that came through, like the gold mafia, we ran with it, and it just slowly died, and it became something of somewhat normal. To any free will thinking Zimbabwean, this audio is what will shape our lives, possibly 2030 and beyond, because already they have claimed that they have already sealed 2030. So we are looking at a Tagwirei empire after 2030, which means all the thieves, looters, and all these, dubious characters will surely be promoted into that government. They will make a big chunk of government, of Kuda Tagwirei's government. This should be worrying to say, now that they don't have power and they are doing this much damage, God forbid they get into power, they will cause serious carnage. We cannot continue to keep quiet about these happenings. We cannot continue to just get excited to say, oh, they've been exposed. And then we close the book or we jump the chapter. We cannot afford. We are seeing what we are going into. This is something that Zimbabwe is going head on into. And it must be stopped. It must be stopped. And I like, that tomorrow we will expand, because it also now mentions about life going into 2030 when Mnangagwa drops off, where you have now the likes of elections, and they are talked about in the audio. We need to be very careful about that. I look forward to joining everybody tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we we are in trouble. The tragedy with Zimbabwe is we are very slow to realize our problems. Whether we want to admit it or not, Zimbabwe is a failed state. And there is no way out. At the present moment, the ZANU-PF dictatorship has become stronger and stronger. And they're having these corrupt individuals who have commandeered all the nation's wealth generation institutions, will make it more and more difficult to wrestle power from them. Because as we have seen with the CAB Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, they made no secret about bribing elected officials to do their bidding. In the video, in this picture that I showed earlier on, Chivayo was even posting that they will see to it that ZANU-PF leaders who do not toe the line will never be elected back into office. And there's been credible information of how these corrupt individuals have been bribing members of parliament and senators to make sure that they pass this constitutional amendment bill number 3. This is where we are. In terms of a meaningful vote, I would honestly say what we are witnessing now is the closing chapter on how Zimbabweans lost their right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country. We are now having to fight for our right to have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. And it's not going to be an easy fight. But fight we must. Thank you very much. I hope you'll be able to join us tomorrow while we discuss this audio in greater detail. Good night.